Okay, so a Battlefield 6 community update has just dropped, as you can see. Nightfall debrief and what's next. We're now 2/3 of the way through Season 2. Most of the content has now dropped for Season 2. The next part is called Hunter Prey, and there's like no, what I would consider new content really coming as part of that phase, but there are going to be some updates to the game. There are going to be some new stuff, things happening in the background. And I kind of just wanted to go through this because there is a little bit of good information in here. And it seems that even though I don't think these steps are going far enough in the right direction, Battlefield 6 seems to be moving in the right direction. So let's get started here. Hi everyone, since the launch on March 17th, Nightfall has brought a darker, more intense atmosphere to the battlefield, and it's been great seeing so many of you adapt to its different style of combat, while others have been taking the dirt bikes for a ride with some crazy flips and bold landings. We wanted to share some of the key themes we've seen so far, as well as looking ahead at what's planned for Phase 3, Hunter Prey. Haagen-Dazs Base has been a standout addition for many of you. I actually really like Haagen-Dazs Base. I think it's probably one of the better meat grinder maps we've ever seen in the Battlefield franchise, and I call it a meat grinder. It definitely is a meat grinder, but it's without those huge moments in a game where you just get locked together. These choke points that just never move. Haagen-Dazs Base kind of gets rid of that, and gameplay keeps flowing, which I really like. We've seen strong feedback about its layout, atmosphere, and how it plays, and particular praise for its visual direction and how it supports close quarters combat. It does support close quarters combat, but then most of the other maps in Battlefield 6 also feature this too. So I think whilst the feedback about the map is good, I'm not sure Haagen-Dazs Base was the kind of map that everyone really wanted to see. I think they wanted to see something a bit bigger and more expansive. The night vision experience has also been well received, with many of you highlighting how it changes the way you move, communicate, and approach engagements. It's been great to see squads adapting to the lower visibility environment and leaning into a more deliberate playstyle. We've seen strong interest in experiences like Nightfall sticking around beyond their initial play window. With the next phase of the season, both VL7 Smoke and Night Mode will be added to Portal, giving players another way to continue experimenting with these modifiers beyond their featured time frame. We'll continue evaluating how limited time modes are received and where they may make sense to return, evolve, or live on in other ways across Battlefield. Just going to take a beat here. Strong interest in experiences like Nightfall. Personally, from just my point of view, and I'm going to kind of limit this now because I keep talking about limited time modes all the time, but I really don't have any interest in game modes that are only there for a few weeks and then just disappear. So if there's strong interest in this kind of stuff, I don't know where they're seeing that strong interest, if I'm honest. I mean, they've got all the data to prove that that statement is correct, but the general sort of outward sentiment from the community is that limited time modes are not really what we want to be seeing from Battlefield 6, and we'd rather see real tangible content like more maps, weapons, vehicles, the kind of stuff that you normally expect from a Battlefield game post-launch. The fact that they're adding this stuff to Portal is good because people can then experiment with it, but obviously Portal has its own issues with 30Hz servers and limited XP gain and various bot farm issues still. Just seems like Portal's still a massive blind spot on this game. I don't really understand how they're handling it, but in general, I'd like to see Battlefield 6 move away from more limited time modes, and I think the focus should be more on actual real content. So let's get on to this Hunter Prey bit though. Hunter Prey goes live on April 14th, so that is in 12 days from now, and marks the final days of Season 2. This update introduces more progression improvements, refines squad communication systems, and makes targeted adjustments to Battle Royale pacing and resource flow. It also restores VL7 Smoke to Gauntlet as a permanent mission modifier. Okay, that's interesting. Progression updates. This is actually something I'm really interested in. Progression has been one of the most consistent areas of feedback since launch. Yes, I'm not surprised because the weapon grind was insane when this game first came out. Since the start of Season 2, we've further streamlined challenges, accelerated Battle Pass progression. Have to say, the Battle Pass didn't feel as grindy in Season 2, so I'm kind of happy about that. We've added more XP boost rewards to early career ranks, moved camo unlocks earlier, reduced all Mastery XP requirements, and introduced a new XP curve that speeds up overall progression. That, I do actually have to say, since the start of Season 2, I have felt the effects of. I'm definitely getting more mastery levels for all the weapons that I'm using. I'm definitely getting more unlocks. It feels more consistent and more satisfying to use different weapons in this game now. They're definitely heading in the right direction, but it sounds like they're not done with all of this. So there's going to be more happening with the Hunter-Prey update. So there's additional updates going for career ranks, weapons, vehicles, and RedSec. So vehicle and weapon progression, you will earn Mastery XP by using weapons and vehicles along with eliminations. That is literally just a statement. That doesn't say they're going to change anything. Career progression. XP earn rates across multiplayer modes will be adjusted slightly to keep progression more consistent between playlists. That's probably one of the bigger game modes outperforming another, so they're going to rebalance it. And then here we go. This is really interesting. RedSec progression. RedSec modes will reward time spent in matches more heavily instead of focusing primarily on final placement. That's actually, I think, a really good change. I noticed that if you get into the top 10 in RedSec, you get loads of career XP. And I think they're going to change that to just basically the amount of time that you spend in a game. Because you may still come like 20th and you have spent like 15 to nearly 17 minutes in a match, and then loads of people just die towards the end. So that could be a good change, I guess. Career XP earned in RedSec will better align with multiplayer progression pacing. That right there that's really interesting, because RedSec is your free-to-play component, where usually progression is accelerated so that free-to-play players make sure that they're at least catching up with the premium or paid players inside multiplayer. But the fact that they're going to align the two together suggests that RedSec is just massively outperforming multiplayer when it comes to XP. Either that, or RedSec is not getting anywhere near as much XP, and they want to bring it up to multiplayer where they've made all these previous changes. So we'll have to see how that feels. In Battle Royale, kills and damage assists will provide 50% higher scores, resulting in more weapon XP per match. Okay, that's really interesting. Lots of people have given feedback since RedSec launched that you use guns in RedSec and you just don't rank them up anywhere quick enough. So the fact that they're now going to give you a 50% boost in the XP compared to the actual current value once this Hunter-Prey update goes live, I think that's really good for free-to-play players. If you haven't bought Battlefield 6 and you only play RedSec, that's really good, because it means that your weapons are going to progress 50% faster than they did before. Then we've got some improvements to the pinging system. This I actually saw as part of, I think it was a labs update not that long ago. They were working on this stuff. But you've probably noticed it, that when you go to ping people in Battlefield 6, like you hit the ping button to like actually like ping something or, you know, spot someone over in the distance. A lot of the time, the pinging system just doesn't know what you want it to do, and it starts putting a ping where you actually were just trying to spot someone, and then sometimes it'll spot someone where you were trying to put a ping, or there'll be an object in front of you that ends up getting pinged, and actually you wanted to ping a hill in the distance or something like that. So they seem to be addressing this across multiplayer and Battle Royale. So long-range spotting for vehicles and drones should work more consistently, and enemy soldiers will be prioritized more reliably over nearby interactable objects. This is the big one for me. So many times I go to spot someone, like physically, like on mouse and keyboard, I'll hit the Q button to try and spot someone, and then I'll just like mark a vehicle or like a quad bike in front of me, and I'm like, no, there's an enemy that I want to ping, and he's over there, and then now he's just killed me. So the fact that they're going to fix that is really, really good. We're also resolving issues that affected pings disappearing when pinging from certain vehicles. With Battle Royale specifically, we are improving how certain items respond when pinged and addressing cases where pings would persist incorrectly after equipment changes. That's something I've seen in RedSec quite a few times. Just some of your pings will just stay permanently on the map, and then you can't get rid of them off the screen. It's really quite frustrating. That means pings on loot should register more consistently, update properly when items are picked up, and then clear correctly when cancelled. This includes pings on the big map. This is a good change. The fact that they're focusing on that's really good. These updates are focused on restoring confidence in squad communication and ensuring that when you ping something, it behaves the way you expect, whether you're marking from a vehicle, marking a route forward, highlighting loot, or calling attention to an objective your squad needs to secure. Yeah, that's exactly the reason why the ping system needs to work properly. So the fact they're putting in some work, that is another good thing. Right, here we go. RedSec changes. Battle Royale. We're improving early and mid-game flow based on feedback with the intention to reduce downtime, improve pacing, and encourage more dynamic and balanced gameplay. That's very interesting. In sort of reducing downtime, I would say that any Battle Royale will always have a bit of downtime to it. Once you've had a big fight, you kind of want a little bit of downtime so that you can heal up, rearm, get your plates on, go find more ammo, switch your weapons, whatever you want to do. So let's see what they're doing here. Ammo drops will contain increased ammunition quantities and include armor plates now. That's a good move because sometimes there's just no armor plates, especially you get into late game. MRAPs and safes will also provide additional armor plates in place of grenades. That's another good change. I also find that a lot of the time, not many people are using different types of grenades in Red Set. They'll just like use the standard frag grenade, or they'll have a smoke grenade or something like that. A lot of the time, like the anti-vehicle grenades and all that kind of stuff, people just don't use them. So the fact they're going to replace those with armor plates, again, I think that's a good thing. We're also introducing a new armor drop strike package. When deployed, it provides 12 armor plate pickups, each one granting 2 plates for a total of 24. This gives squads another strategic option when preparing for extended engagements. That's 6, 12, 18, 24. So if you're playing quads, each player will then get 6 plates from one of these armor drop strike packages. That's really cool. And I think you can carry... Is it 6 or 8 plates in Red Set that you can carry? I'm not 100%. I can't remember. But basically, again, that's a really good step. They are going all in on increasing the amount of plates and armor that you can find. So I think that's definitely a good thing. I have found at multiple points playing Red Sec that sometimes in early game and sometimes in late game, you just struggle to find them. And a lot of the time, if you're the one taking all the damage and then you lose like all of your plates, well, then that's just on you. But you also want to be gearing up towards mid to late game so that you get lots of plates ready for those final fights. And sometimes it feels like you just can't find them. So that's a good step in the right direction there. Chest opening animations are being sped up slightly, yay, to help maintain looting momentum. We'll be monitoring how this feels in live matches and may adjust further based on feedback. I think they already increased that from launch back in October. I remember for the first couple of weeks, it was really, really slow when you were opening up the chests, and sometimes you just get shot in the back waiting for the thing to open. And it now feels faster than it did, but if they're going to increase it again, I think that's good, because then you just want the crate to open, you want to have a quick look at what's in there, and then be on your way. So that's another good change. We're also bringing back the Traverser Mark II, known as the Armored Transport, back to the Battle Royale in the next update, but with its weapons removed. Thank God for that. I was just sort of trying to read ahead there whilst I was reading to you guys. The fact that they're going to bring that back without its weapons, it is good, but there's still one problem there. You can't shoot somebody out of the driver's seat because it's completely armored. Like, you can hit... I don't think you can shoot somebody out of the driver's seat. We saw the impact its armor and turret could have on a match flow, and this change is intended to bring it back as a way that better fits the mode. Okay, so for this, because we don't have the context about whether they're going to have it so that you can shoot somebody out of the vehicle, I'd say this is like a 50% improvement on the Traverser in Battle Royale. I know that it was absolutely horrific when it had its turrets on it, because it had like an insane... You had just so much ammunition, and then you could just whip the turret round and kill people so quickly. It was completely overpowered. It was just a stupid addition. So the fact that they've removed the weapon off of it, that's good. But if you still can't damage the driver and or the persons that are sitting in it, like, obviously if you can see them through the glass, you should be able to shoot them. That's what I think anyway. You should be able to shoot them. So if you can't do that, they'll still just use it as like a rolling armor box, and then they will just drive at you, hop out and kill you. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Let's see once it goes live. It's a good thing they've removed the weapon, but if you still can't shoot people out of it, especially through the glass, I still think they need to make a change there, but we'll have to wait and see. Additionally, for Battle Royale only, the Sledgehammer's damage against destructible walls has been increased. If you prefer to create your own entry points rather than use the front door, you'll now have more freedom to reshape the environments. That's interesting. So they've not gone through the entire Battle Royale map and said, right, this area will now just be more destructible. All the parts that are already destructible, it will just take less hits for you to smash your way through walls with the sledgehammer. So I think that's good, because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hits and like people can hear what you're doing. So if it's just one smash to break through a wall, that's going to mean that the sledgehammer could be a viable option. Most people are probably still going to use the knife because it gives you the increased sprint speed. But if you wanted to use the sledgehammer now, I guess that's a good reason for you actually choosing it. And it gives you a positive benefit over running the knife. Okay, so that's it for Battle Royale. In fact, no, there's a bit more about Battle Royale here. Let's go down to this. Let's go down to this part, and then we'll come back to Gauntlet. Here we go. Battle Royale solos testing. Woohoo! Over the weekend of March 6th through March 9th, we ran a limited time Battle Royale solos test within Battlefield Labs in the live game. Our goal was simple: get solos into players' hands, observe how matches play at scale, and gather real feedback on pacing, class dynamics, and vehicles and overall match feel. Solos has been one of the most requested ways to play Battle Royale. Can't believe RedSec launched without solos. It's just a massive... I don't know, it was like a massive red flag at the very beginning. I can't believe they didn't do solos at the beginning. And this test made it clear that many of you still see it as your preferred way to jump into a match, especially when your friends are not online. Can I just add there, not everybody has friends that want to play the same games as them. That's why solos is so important. Not everybody plays all the games that they like to play with their friends. Some people have games that they just want to play on their own. And that's why having solos in Battle Royale is insanely important. We also saw strong feedback that this mode helped players learn at their own pace without the ups and downs of being teamed with randoms. That, again, massive bit of feedback. Sometimes other people, when you play in like quads or duos, they have their own agenda and they just do what they want to do and don't consider that maybe you don't know what you're doing. Or you want to do something and start using the ping system and then they just don't work with you. So having a solos mode, it's inherently more selfish, but I think it's something that definitely should be in the game. During the test, we were able to collect valuable and specific feedback across several areas. The most commonly discussed points raised by our players were recon pressure, vehicle impact, and pacing. I would probably agree with those three being top issues. Recon tools, particularly drones, yes, were frequently mentioned as being highly valuable due to their strong situational awareness. The drone just has permanent, everlasting thermals on it until the battery runs out. That, for me, just a complete no-no. We observed a large number of players choosing the Recon class during the test, making it a clear meta choice. We will be reviewing how class balance and gadget behavior affects solo play specifically. I can give you your answer here, DICE. Battlefield Studios, EA. However we're supposed to address you. I'm sorry, I don't know these days. Just remove classes from solos in RedSec. Honestly, just remove solos. Just have the pistol, and that's it. Don't have any of the class. If you want to have the gadgets, put them in the game as lootable gadgets. But just don't have classes. That way you won't have this problem where everyone is running recon and everyone has a drone. If you make it so that the drone is a rare lootable item, that's different than everybody just starting the game with a perma-thermal drone that can see everybody on the map. Just remove classes from RedSec solos. Vehicles also generated mixed feedback from the weekend, I'd definitely say so, especially combat vehicles. Some players enjoyed the added chaos they introduced, while others felt they could swing fights too heavily when there isn't a squad available to coordinate encounters. This is the circle that I fit in. I don't think that having combat vehicles works in a solos mode because there's no way for an individual solo to directly combat an armored combat vehicle without immediately attracting the attention of that vehicle. The vehicle comes over with its insanely powerful cannon and kills you. But not only that, if you want to fire an RPG at the back of the tank, you then let everyone else know where you are. And of course, it's solo, so you don't have a teammate watching your back to cover you. So you just basically give away your position and just signal blast where you are, and then all other solos will just seek you out and kill you. So, we're continuing to evaluate the role of combat vehicles in solos specifically, including how they influence fairness, counterplay, and overall match flow. We will share information as the work continues. Okay, so they still haven't actually decided whether they want to get rid of tanks in RedSec solos. I thought they would come out and be a bit more definitive than that. Personally, I think the decision is pretty obvious. just remove tanks. Just make all the vehicles in solos specifically. Just make them all transport vehicles. Then that way you don't have this problem with people running around with this insanely powerful piece of equipment, and the only way to get rid of it is to fire multiple rockets at it and then give away your position to everyone else on the map, and there's no one to cover you. Just, honestly, just make all the vehicles, just take all the weapons off of them, disable the tanks, and just have transport vehicles. We also saw how solos naturally changed how players approach engagements and movement throughout a match. Without the additional support from squad mates, decision-making became more independent, and pacing evolved differently across each phase of the game. I would agree with that. We're reviewing how systems such as player count, early match flow, and circle behavior shape that experience and how we can best support a variety of playstyles. Okay, so they're reviewing how systems such as player count can best support a variety of playstyles and how it shapes the experience. Please don't lower the player count. Don't take it down from 100. If anything, I'd love to see you guys go up to like 120 or something like that. But again, if they haven't made a decision, of course, they're always going to say they're going to carry on reviewing stuff. But please don't lower the player count. The map's already big enough with 100 players on it. You might want to consider actually upping the player count a little bit. Beyond those topics, we're also exploring how broader systems interact in solos mode. This includes reviewing how mission rewards and progression incentives influence player behavior, and how resource availability impacts decision-making throughout the different phases of the game. I would say that mission rewards and progression, so like the missions within solos, a lot of the time you could kind of just not do missions and it wouldn't really impact how your round went at all. If the mission popped up that gave me like a custom weapon drop before the public custom weapon drops came down onto the map, then I would do that mission. But a lot of the time I just wouldn't bother because I'm like, I don't really need to do missions. I'm just one person on my own. I can loot up very quickly. I can grab a few plates. I can be in a position where I don't have to like share resources amongst 3 other players because I'm just playing on my own. So I don't really feel like missions are really needed in solos, or at least the way that they're impacted. Perhaps they need to be sort of more focused towards that solo style of gameplay. But Battlefield Labs continues to be an important tool for us to experiment with ideas like this and gather feedback before making larger changes. We're continuing to evaluate the areas highlighted during this test, making adjustments where needed, and using those learnings to help determine when Battle Royale Solos returns. Okay, so they're using the learnings to help determine when Battle Royale Solos returns. So it is going to come back. They are going to bring back Battle Royale Solos, but in here, they've not mentioned at all when that's going to happen. So they've done one test. It sounds like they want to do another one. And we're not sure when that's going to be yet. So again, steps in the right direction. I think solos is absolutely needed for RedSec. But we don't really know when we're going to see it. I'll quickly run through Gauntlet. The VL7 smoke will return as a permanent mission modifier within Gauntlet, appearing randomly across select combat areas and enabling gas masks as part of the tactical layer. While it's currently disabled during Nightfall to align with the mode's theme, it will return with Hunter Prey. During Nightfall, we also released a limited time mode called Gauntlet Nightfall. This mode featured 6 teams of 3 fighting through 3 rounds, Vendetta, Contract, and Heist, set in a dark, NVG-enabled version of Hagenthal Base. This variant emphasizes visibility management, coordination, and controlled aggression in low-light combat. And then they're just giving us a load of stats. Okay, so they just said, hey, we did this for Gauntlet. And then not said anything else. At least they're going to bring back VL7 smoke for the people who play Gauntlet. I guess that kind of tells you where Gauntlet is at the moment. And then the last bit, Portal. This is kind of interesting. It addresses something within Portal that I think is quite important, but it doesn't quite stretch out to cover all the bases of what's wrong with Portal. So we'll go into this. Introducing Portal Gadget. This will come on April 14th with the Hunter Prey update. Portal Gadget is a versatile, equipable tool built for creators designing custom Portal experiences. It gives you the power to trigger tailored gameplay logic at precise moments and locations, putting far more control in your hands and transforming how players interact with your world. Until now, there hasn't been an intuitive way for players to activate custom logic whenever they choose. There's no true portal button, and most inputs are already tied to core gameplay or limited to specific contexts. This has led creators to rely on fixed interact points, force players into specific locations, or use clunky workarounds like crouch to confirm, a solution that's been all too common in 2042. We were playing Battlefield 6. Oh, that's Portal for 2042. Right, okay. Portal Gadget changes that. Designed specifically for Portal, the gadget has been added to a player's inventory via script, giving creators full control over when and how it's introduced. Players equip it just like any standard gadget, but instead of performing a traditional in-game action, it becomes a powerful trigger for custom events. With true script, creators can spawn or equip the gadget, bind custom gameplay scripts to its inputs and events, and activate those behaviors seamlessly during gameplay. Behind the scenes, it connects directly to your Portal experience logic script, allowing you to define exactly what happens when and where it's used. No more workarounds, no more compromises. Portal gadget unlocks more intentional, responsive interactions, making it easier than ever to build dynamic, immersive experiences that behave exactly how you want them to. Okay. So they're adding, like, a trigger that you, as a soldier in Portal, can sort of activate straight away without you having to, like, create a way for you to activate it during gameplay. You actually have it on your person and you activate it. Okay, that's cool. It doesn't really address the 30 Hz servers in Portal. It doesn't address the fact that there are still bot farms in Portal. It doesn't really address the fact that most of the time, you're not playing on full XP experiences in Portal. It doesn't address the fact that there's no Conquest, Rush, Breakthrough templates for Portal. People have to create them themselves in order to create that game mode. I cannot believe that there's not just a Conquest template that you can just go click and just put straight onto the map that you've created. Like, that's just the easiest win right there. I don't understand. So, okay, this is cool for more granular stuff in Portal, but beyond that, well, it will be used by some people, but I think that goes to, like, the 1% of people that know what they're doing with Portal anyway. And then this is just some community highlights. They do say to keep feedback coming. So this part of Hunter Prey, like I said, there's not much real tangible content in there. We are getting the operations mode. There's going to be another, like, limited time bonus path for the battle pass, and you'll get a melee weapon if you complete all the missions. But I said at the start of Season 2 that Phase 3 of each season for Battlefield 6 is just dead air. There's no content there. There's no real significant reason, I think, for players to come back and experience that part of a season. It's just a bit of a nothing burger. So in certain senses, like, if you're already sort of playing Battlefield 6 a lot, I guess that you can play operations and you can do the new stuff and you can enjoy the fact that they're going to make progression even nicer and feel more fluid. That's great. And you'll get the ping updates. And I guess for Battle Royale, you've obviously got these changes to armor and stuff like that. If you were hoping for solos to come back, they haven't confirmed when that's going to come back yet. So it's an update of sorts. There's stuff happening. But again, I thought that Phase 3 for Season 2 was going to be a bit empty. And that's kind of how it seems to be transpiring. So at least you're up to date now with Battlefield 6. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you soon.